You guys' game was so much more sophisticated, though. Like, the habits of basketball now have been totally just distorted. You know, like, this is like, it's not how basketball is meant to be played. That's what I always talk about, right? It comes back to the analytics influence, right? You got these guys in the front office that didn't really hoop. They're preaching threes and layups, right? Within that, what happens, it takes away so much creativity. It takes away so much grit. Takes away so many little instinct things that you would do as a basketball player, right? All that is out the window now because you've computerized, and it's like an algorithm now. When you watch basketball, especially when you watch the NBA, I mean, yeah, college looks bad spacing-wise, but I was kind of like, yo, this is refreshing. Like, they got to go figure it out now. There's problem-solving involved, right? And it's a tighter three-point line, so it's like, okay, you know, I almost feel like the way the NBA game is played now, it's like a glitch. Of course, threes are worth more than twos, right? We always knew that, but we lost the low post game. That's gone. The bruisers are gone. Bruisers made games more exciting. You know, when you had, like, I mean, who's a bruiser that you played with? Like,
oh, I had Danny Fortson. I had Evans. You had Evans.
Yeah, Reggie Evans.
Reggie Evans. Fuck.
Like, those guys made you really have to go work for every basket. And it brought out another level of a Brandon Jennings or a Gilbert Arenas because they had to go find a different dimension of their game. Whereas now it's like pickup. Like, you could just walk a guy down, create off the dribble. Like, that's easy, right?
Yeah.
You know, no disrespect, I'm not an NBA pro, but that's easy shit for you guys, right? And it's like, when you lost the grit, the creativity, running sets, like you played in the Princeton, right? Yeah, Eddie Jordan's Princeton. There's so many different options out of that, right? That you would say, oh shit, that was a good call. Oh shit, that was a good read. That's all gone. It's drive, kick, pick and roll, threes and layups. Yeah, you fully optimize the game and the scores are higher, but now you got to do creative shit like, oh, let's introduce a mid-season tournament to make it more interesting. Because we tune out. Because we tune out. The truth is we tune out of games. You watch a game, you start scrolling. Because, yo, it's just threes and layups, threes and layups. The worst thing is now the playoffs are going to start, right? Guys that have been battle-tested a bit, like the KDs and shit, they're going to cruise just on, yo, bro, you don't even know how to solve this problem. I did this in 2012, bro. What does this mean for the young guys, though? This is all they know. The new young guys coming into the league, this is all they know, this brand of basketball. So I feel like something's got to change, but it's coming at the front office level. Like, you know, you're putting in, they've gone all in on threes and layups, analytics, basketball, right?
It's really, it's like, I think Jamal Crawford said it best, right? A mid-range is like a jab.
That was on my show, yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's like a jab.
Yeah.
He's 100% correct. If I can fake like I'm going all the way in and you run for it, I can pull up.
Yeah.
Now next time I come, right, you stop, I go by. Right? It's a game. It's like being a puppet master. If I know once you take off, you're only going to the layup, then it's easier to load up.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's easier to load up. You know, if I know, okay, let me just let him shoot the three, right? Knowing he's going to shoot the three. Like the pull-up game, the mid-range, especially when guys really don't want to play defense.
Yeah.
Right? Really don't want, as a offensive player, you need all the elements. You need all the elements of scoring.
Yeah.
Like when people say, you know, 3-level scoring, that's, for someone like me, that's a basic number. 3, mid-range, layup, right? That's basic, right? You need a post-up game, right? You need
in-between game
floaters. You need an in-between floater game like the Joe Johnson, Tony Parker. Then you need the logo type of game. You need the ISO game. So there's like 5 to 6 levels when you become real creative. Yeah. Like I was doing a test with someone. I said, hey, who's the best 3-level, 5-level scorer? And I said, the reason I said that is once you put in 3 or 4 levels, it takes out 90% of today's game.
It does.
Because these guys can't play. Like you'll still have Devin Booker, you have DeRozan, maybe a little bit of DeRozan, you have Kyrie, you have Luka. But for the most, like somebody like Giannis wouldn't be able to make it. No. LeBron wouldn't be able to make it because he rarely goes mid-range at this point. You know, so it has to be like when you're talking about that's what made Larry Bird great. So when you want to talk about type of players, that's what made Larry great. He had a mid-range, he had a floater, he had a layup package, he had a three. Like he has these different type of levels to his scoring ability.
Even watching you guys, like you're 60 in Staples or you're 54, like it was, you needed pressure to bring the best out of you. I'm working on my mid-range in the offseason. I'm working on my deep three. I'm working on my finishing. You needed to be challenged in order to showcase all that. You're 55, seventh game or whatever, like 35-point games. I saw you guys really go into your bag as creators because you were forced to, right? And it diversified your attack. What that did as a fan, it made it so much more fun to watch, but it also showed you who the real cold killers are, right? There's a lot of guys in your era that if you just put them on an island and let them play with freedom, they would have put up crazy numbers. They just never had that opportunity to go do it.
No, that's facts.
They just never had that opportunity.
That's facts. Yeah. But it's also it's also a thing on just you're training yourself, right? When I trained, I tell kids now, have different packages for different type of players, right? Today's game, they're playing with one package.
Yeah.
Right? You can't play basketball with, you can't drive down the same, like your Ferrari, you can't go 90 miles an hour, right?
Yeah.
What happens in traffic? Now you don't know how to move.
No.
Right? So if I'm guarding Kawhi, I have a package for players like him. If I'm being played by, Patrick Beverly, I have a package for players like him. If I'm playing against a smaller guard now I have a post-up package because maybe I can't dribble and do my pick and roll because he's getting under me. So I have to get off the ball and have a back. If I have someone who loves playing tight defense, all right, I got to use my backdooring and fall asleep, take off on them, off-ball type of. You have to have different patterns. And that's why Steph and somebody like Dame at this level is still fucking you up.
Yeah.
Because they've understood that they're not playing the same game against the same type of guards. No. And that's where a lot of the youth needs to understand, like, you can't do the same thing versus everybody. Like, there might be a sorry guy out there who's built, his body build is exactly to stop you.
Guys aren't students of the games anymore. That's the biggest loss of the game too, and why it's like that. Like the appreciating of who came before you and studying the game and training, like all that. That's why guys can't play so many games or this. They don't even not probably really interested in it.
They don't love it like that no more.
Like the details of it.
Yeah.
Like and I some of the coaching probably is not that good either anymore. I don't think they've taken the time. Like my rookie year at Scott Skiles, we would watch film after every game.
Yeah.
And be able to critique everything. Now I doubt they really get
It's
that.
almost like the NBA has become AAU, an extension of AAU, right? In the way that it's played. You go to Vegas in July, you go to Summer League that night, it's the same brand of basketball now.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas you were challenged in college, whole different way. You got to the NBA, it opened up, it was a different game. You went pro overseas, guys aren't seeing different scenarios, different sets, different types of schemes. Yeah. They're just seeing one thing. And it's dumbed the game down, but it's took away guys' creativity. And it's almost took away their greatness because, like you said, they're not studying the nuance of the game. Oh, I'm going to catch this guy sleeping. There's little minute details that are absent. They're just not needed anymore.
There's more. So I always hear you talk about hoopers, right?
Yeah.
There's more hoopers than basketball players now. Like a basketball player understands the full aspect of the game.
And it ruined the thing about being a hooper now.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just a hooper now.
Everyone's a hooper.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
So the thing about a real hooper back then, right? You needed him when, we're in the middle of the playoffs and they fucking know everything we're about to do. That's when the hooper comes in.
Him and Monte went off against Miami.
Yeah.
Did you guys win that game?
No, we lost. No.
Yeah, but it was you challenged them in a way, right? It was him and Monte. There was guys that would come in, microwaves, and alter the whole game, right? Yeah. You had that Like, you know, there was guys like, I mean, shit, there was a lot of guys. Jamal Crawford, Lou Will.
Yeah, but
you know?
those are the guys you need to change the pace when everything is so structured and everything knows. Now, everyone's the same. Everyone,
That's
you come in, you give them the ball, they go through their whole little routine. Like, bro.
It's the highlights and all that.
Yeah,
It's overrated. Yeah,
I know.
It's like overrated.
it's the game. It's the game.
The game is the game, as
Part
they
of the
say.
game.
It's the game.
Everything is inflated. Like they say players are more skilled now. I disagree. Because like you just get to see it more because there's no help side. You know, he's got you on an island and it's freedom. It's pickup basketball.
It's when every time someone says, "Oh, they're skilled," I said, "At what?
Right.
At what? Are they more mentally skilled?
Right.
Do they understand the aspect of the game skilled, or you're talking about the part you actually see? That's skilled, right? Yeah. Like I can tell if a guy has a bad limp. I can tell if his arm is a little shorter. Like, you know, when I used to cross over on Jason Kidd, I only crossed over one way because, you know, I don't know if he broke an arm, but it was, you know, it didn't flex all the way. So I know when I crossed over, I had about 3 inches going the other way. You know, I'm going to cross over to that same arm because I know he couldn't poke it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I know this player got a bad hip. Like, let's just say a righty, right? If I go left, it's easier for the righty to run with me to jump, right? Like, so if I'm going left, I know with a righty, I have certain things to do. Well, when I'm going to my right, it's better to develop a step back because a righty, right? For him to block your shot, he has to turn all the way. He has to actually turn to look at the basket to go.
If you're a righty going right?
So if I'm guarding you, right, for me to block your shot, I have to fully, so you blow by me, I have to fully turn to try to. Now, if you step back, that's why James Harden's step back be so fucking vicious. That's why you can, if you're lefty, you can fuck a righty up.
Every time.
Lillard sidestep.
Every time.
Because I have to, for you, when you take off, I have to fully go. See, if you go left, I can run like this and just jump and block. It's easier for me to recover.
Right.
This recovery, I have to turn and go and those lefties step back. You be like, God damn it.
Killer every time.
Every time.
Killer every time.
Like if you're gonna make a guy fall, if you're gonna make a guy fall, it's you going right, and when he fully turns,
Yeah.
But though they're not skilled at that.
It's gone.
Yeah, they're not skilled at that. They're skilled at.
Well, like you said, the levels of offense.
Right.
It's the levels. I like how you levels.
Well, shit, I hope they was out there watching this and taking notes.